Welcome to Real Flix Reviews. We're like a book club for people 8 reading. This month we're doing Grab Bag, so James picked the movie My Girl, made in 1991, and we talk about House of Cards, Season 1. This week we have Jonathan Charney, James Stevens, Ryan Preston.
The old guy's here.
So James's wonderful pick is about a young girl on the threshold of her teen years finds her life turning upside down when she is accompanied by an unlikely friend.
Isn't this so much better than Born Jaundice?
By what?
That was the original title of the film.
Seriously?
Was
Born
Born Jaundice.
That's hilarious.
That's in the trivia.
In the trivia.
By the way,
awesome.
I remember this being morbid, but I don't remember this movie being as morbid as it actually was.
You know what? There was a
very morbid at all.
No, I didn't either.
there was a very
The girl was very
explosion
morbid.
of young girls, probably like 5-6 years ago, that were all named Veda, and I forgot that her name was Veda. And you know what? That would be our age of kids, giving birth.
But I'm back. Hey, can you
Game of Thrones.
I can if it would respond.
So the reason
I knew you were going to turn
Okay,
this
the
off.
reason
I was
picked it-
actually muting it just until the commercial's over. So
the
you were
reason
saying?
I picked it was because it was something that I always liked, but I couldn't say why. And as John breaks Rob's iPad. Anyway,
Aw.
now I gotta say, other than it was a good story, I don't really know why.
Why it was a good story?
Why I enjoyed it as a kid,
Oh,
because I can't
okay.
see it as holding my attention as a kid for that long.
My only guess is because she herself, I found her to be the most entertaining part of the scene because
that's
she
why
was.
the movie was based on her.
Yeah, but there was like a couple of scenes, because she lived in a funeral home, she was fixated on death and some of the random things in its sickness she would say,
Yeah.
I thought were probably one of the more entertaining things about this movie.
Yeah, and watching this in hindsight, this is probably one of Macaulay Culkin's worst roles of the late 80s, early 90s. Honestly, he did not do a great acting job.
It can't be worse than
But he
Richie
wasn't in
Rich.
that many scenes, to be honest. He really wasn't.
Yeah, but he was
I
he was a main character in her life, and it was
Yeah.
supposed to be a big
Yeah.
thing.
I would say less of a character and more of a plot device.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Because he was
really
a
any young boy of that age probably could have played the part, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't think it took a huge amount of acting skill at that age to do what he did.
But I really do think that his motivation, this character's motivation basically was to help her grow up and face the demon of the fact her mom died giving birth, which is what this whole movie was about.
Yeah.
Well, it's a simple coming of age story. I mean,
It really
Oh,
is.
yeah.
Yeah.
with kind of plot points, and obviously in a different way than most people have seen it. I didn't think Macaulay Culkin did a bad job at all. Like I kind of agree with
But
Rob. Like any 10-year-old kid,
Yeah.
and he could pull off that kind of a thing.
I think
That's what I'm kind of saying, but this is
And I
still
actually
around
thought
this.
I thought it was even pretty good compared to, or not even compared to, but just in contrast to what he did later on, because he's obviously not that type of a kid.
Yeah,
He was
that's
more-
true.
Right.
I would say everybody, in my opinion, had kind of the same level of acting. Not bad, but nothing stand out, in my opinion. Everything was kind of so-so.
Yeah, that's
Well,
kind of what I felt. I mean, because I'm looking at the roles that he did, like the Good Son,
Home Alone.
Home Alone,
Mhm.
those, and I mean the first two. Let's not count the 15 after that, but just the first two Home Alones. But you're kind of right, Ryan. Is he really was kind of playing that Dennis the Menace type of character in most of his other roles, and this one is more of a little bit.
A little more against type, I think.
Yeah, you're right.
And more, let's say, more vulnerable than his other characters were. Because this one, this role this kid had was allergic to everything. Obviously, died by being stung to death.
Right.
Yeah, which is one of the.
Horrible.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
horrible
actually
death.
remember kind of having not really a fear of bees, but just kind of be like, damn, I'm glad I'm not allergic to them.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say, the one thing about this movie that I was really excited for was Dan Aykroyd. I've always been a fan of him. So that was the one thing I was like, oh, it's cool. Even though this
I
movie's
didn't-
slow, I was
He
happy to
was
see him.
tame. This is tame Dan. Now.
Oh, very
very
tame,
tame.
and very heavy.
Yeah.
I did not realize because he's not that large now.
Or in Blues Brothers.
Or in
Oh,
Blues
no.
Brothers. No, I mean, he really, either they patted him up or he was really enjoying his food. back
He
then.
enjoyed his food, except for the cooking in the movie.
Yeah.
And his vodka.
Anyway, yeah. And of course, Jamie Lee Curtis. I, she's kind of in my era. I kind of have a little crush on her, and I like her, even in some of the
She was
stupid
kind
movies.
of
she's
the Uma
in.
Thurman of your age, I guess.
Yeah, probably.
I don't think this about many women, but I liked her better with short hair.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And she always plays a perky character. I think there's very few movies I've seen her in where she doesn't play some sort of perky character. Because in True Lies, she was that way. A Fish Called Wanda, Freaky Friday, even Halloween, I thought somewhat. She was a little more of an upbeat character.
I was the first to say perky and True Lies.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
maybe upbeat would be a
John
better
just
way.
like the stripping
Halloween's
section.
I don't know
Say
about perky.
upbeat.
John always thought about the stripping section.
There's a stripping section? I think I blocked that part out.
Oh, anyway. Yeah.
In True Lies, where she comes
But
in.
look at the striptease ever in a movie next to Selma Hayek in From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah.
The problem is there's Arnold Schwarzenegger in the scene. There's just nothing,
Yeah, but he was in the shadows. You couldn't tell.
He had a tape recorder. Really wasn't his voice.
Yeah,
It's not a
had
Uma.
He's still
John
kinda
Mayer song
creepy.
playing in the background.
How do you think he got the maid pregnant in real life?
But you know,
So
all in all, this is really more of a tearjerker type of
Hold
thing.
on, Arnold's on the phone for you.
Goodly man. But it's really more of, I think you said, what was it, tweenie film?
a tween.
And that's
Tween.
really what it is. It's a kind of preteen, teen type thing. And, for that, I think it holds up for young girls or
Oh,
young
yeah.
kids about that age. But, for me, I really don't really get, other than, it was a good story. That's
It's
really what it
it's
is.
a good movie. I agree with you in as much as I'm surprised I liked this movie as a kid.
Yeah, I had fond memories of it.
The only part that I really remembered was him dying by the bee sting, but I remember liking it. Like I was in your boat too, but that was the one part that stuck out, and then the fact that they work in a funeral home.
Yeah.
Incidentally, I don't know if we've ever even explicitly mentioned this. I know we've alluded to it a couple of times, but that's actually my day job.
Yeah.
Is working in a funeral home, and
Go watch 6 Feet
as far
Under.
as that section, accurate. I can vouch for most of that. But even without that, it was a good movie. Like as far as like a coming of age thing, when she pushed Macaulay Culkin down and said, "Get out of here and don't come back for 5 to 7
love
days. Yeah.
that was so good. That's
But-
such a good line.
but
And it fits
Did you
so
guys
well
as kids
with the-
understand what that meant?
No.
See, there you
No,
go.
yeah,
That
no.
was an adult line thrown in for a kid's movie, which is
But I would
And-
also
and
say
a lot
with,
of it was that it was obviously a lot of these things, a lot of adult themes happening sort of through her perspective, and
But-
even really lofty things that I've spent years and years thinking about, like subjects like death and what that really means and all that.
right.
And she's trying to work this out at 11 years old, so
Right.
so that's a
Pretty tough.
here's this like precocious little girl who really thinks that she's much older than she is, but kind of realizing like that she's just becoming, any kind of a young lady kind of thing,
I would say that the one thing about the adult part of it was very tastefully done. There was nothing in here like kind of modern movies where they throw in like disgusting sex jokes.
Actually,
or-
I
thought that was really
impressed
tasteful.
by the
that was.
hippie poem that she read
Mm-hmm.
that alluded to the sex thing, but didn't do it in a way that the kids would be like, "Oh my god," and
Yeah.
totally
Right.
get it.
It was
Right.
very tasteful, which
yeah, it
really
was very
surprised me.
simply done.
Well written.
Yeah, it was very well written. And
well, they obviously knew their audience.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Cross a line with 11-year-olds.
Well, I think,
Right.
I mean, if you look at the movie Shrek, for example, the whole movie's a giant sex joke, but as a kid, you wouldn't get it until you saw it and realize
Yeah.
that movie's very
it's
filthy.
innuendo, and this one didn't do innuendo because it was actually kind of tackling the subject matter itself. It wasn't like, hey, we're gonna give this little wink and a nod. It was actually kind of going after the subject matter and her perspective on said subject. You know.
Which I really
the-
liked.
the
I
thing
was
that
really happy about that.
That I thought was interesting in the trivia is somebody was saying that the really only big difference between the novel that this was based on and the movie is when she hears that Macaulay Culkin's character dies, is she knocks over her fishbowl. That was like the only thing not kept in there, and that's actually pretty incredible for a novel to switch to a movie and to not have
You know,
that
it's
big
funny.
Keep
change.
it true to the
didn't-
book. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was a novel, but when you told me the working title or the original title, I'm like, that was a book title.
Yeah. I'm surprised they called him Thomas J, though.
Yeah,
That was kind of a weird Thomas J.
Another thing that I thought was kind of funny and interesting is when they do the Blood Brother scene, the BBFC, the British Board of Film Classification, made the in there to have something about HIV and transmitting HIV.
In the British
In
release?
this film, in the British release, they actually put some warning in there that this can transmit HIV, because that was a big thing in the early 90s.
Well,
if you guys
that's
remember.
probably
No,
not
that's
a
right.
bad thing to have done, to be honest. I mean, the kids should be aware that maybe this is
And that was my comment this time around, is when Jen, when we were watching it,
Yeah.
I said, and that's how you transmit AIDS.
Yeah.
So,
But why weren't there helmet warnings? I mean,
know,
because
I
they were
don't
riding
know.
the bikes without
you
helmets.
could ride a bike. Well, that didn't happen until like what, 15 years ago or something.
No, it was in the early. It was in the early 90s.
mid-90s.
Yeah, early to
Mid-90s. Like,
mid-90s.
I think it was
it was,
96, 98. Between there. But, all in all, I really don't get why I thought this was as great of a film as I thought it was. But, I can't really go really low on it either, because I think there's a lot of things that still hold up. I think for kids today, that if they watch it, they will still get some type of enjoyment out of it. And
I think it's a
interest.
perfect kids movie. For,
On that, I
for
think I'd
age
give it a
group.
4 on the kids thing. But I mean, if I was going to rate it as an adult, I'd give it probably even 3.5. But I think I'll stick with the 4 as far as the kids and how it holds up. Way better than Goonies.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Goonies. Don't
I
even
would-
get me started.
The other thing I wanted to speak about was the fact it's also kind of not a redemption story, but it's about Dan Aykroyd kind of getting back into the swing of things. Which
Yeah.
Recovering from his, and it was a long time that his wife died,
Yeah.
and he had been out of it for a long time, as his other older brother had pointed out.
Yeah.
And along comes an opportunity with a Jamie Lee Curtis
in a camper van.
Yeah.
and a van that I have never seen. That was an odd vehicle.
Well,
It was pretty cool, actually.
She did say she made it.
Yeah.
So that was the other part that was the interesting switch, and I kind of think these movies kind of go hand in hand, with the coming of age in this, the way they did it. But I was really surprised in how quickly they jumped in like an hour and a half this movie is from dating to boom, marriage.
Yeah.
I mean that went fast.
Well, I think it was a longer period of time than what it felt within the movie.
Oh, yeah, it had to be.
I mean, it's because her comfort level of doing makeup on corpses and everything else that went on, it's not going to happen overnight. I mean, it's going to take a while to mature. So
Yeah. You're waiting for him to blink.
yeah,
I loved the makeup scene where was it the preacher's wife?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
He said, "Why do you have her done up like a horror or something like that?"
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm paraphrasing. That line.
Well, that picture was taken 2 weeks ago at the
Nobody
picnic,
dresses like that.
That was funny.
Or the part where when she was uncomfortable, she started singing "My Girl,"
Yeah.
which is
She started singing "Do Wah Diddy."
That's right. That's right.
That was Grandma.
Oh, that reminds me of the funniest scene in the whole thing during the funeral, and she grabs the rose and just starts singing.
Ryan does that on if you pay him extra.
Does he?
Absolutely.
I just thought that had to be the most uncomfortable thing in real life if some old lady starts singing it into a flower and you're grieving over your loved one.
You know what? I think it might be almost just a tension breaker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've been to quite a few funerals, and I think that everybody would start laughing immediately.
Yeah.
Especially if you found it was like the funeral home's like little old grandmother. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With the
little
catatonic grandmother,
Well,
by the way.
Knew, and
Alzheimer's and
I think most of those families around there probably knew that his grandma was there.
yeah.
Right. Well, and that's a very classic. You don't see that anymore. Like the funeral parlor, like at the house. Very few places, actually still have the home upstairs and then the business downstairs kind of thing. And yeah, most of it's corporate now, and it's insane.
Yeah.
I guess it's another funny scene there's a bunch of scenes in here I thought were amusing.
So.
Totally. The other one was when the kids paid her to see within inside a casket.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that was funny.
Oh,
there's no body.
And when they brought
No
the
wonder
kid
that.
casket in, oh jeez,
yeah.
it's like it's for midgets.
For midgets. Yeah. Didn't want to say it.
So
was for
that's
children.
what happened to Master Blaster. Yeah, I kind of.
Burner Town. Sorry.
Thank you for not bringing any Tina Turner into that. I would say, I'd have to give it a 3. I mean, there were a bunch of scenes in here, at least I thought were fairly amusing. I actually agree with James and Ryan. I'm not quite sure how this movie held my attention.
As a kid, yeah.
Because this movie, even now, I felt was long.
I understand for girls, and I mean, it's a total tearjerker at the end. They play it really well. And I gotta say, Anna
Chomsky?
Klumsky. She did an amazing job as a little girl acting.
Oh, yes, she did.
She
I
did.
mean, just really well
She
done.
was perfect for the part. The
Yeah.
casting, actually, I think was well done.
Yeah.
Perfect
Anyway,
fit for the characters.
that was one of the last things I want to say.
Rob, you're up.
So, you want my opinion, huh?
Yeah.
This, by the way, is the opinion. Anybody want to bet? Because I think I might know the rating. So
I'm surprised
you
you didn't
don't.
tear it apart.
No, actually, I wouldn't. I believe this is an excellent
he must be sick.
movie for children. The tweens, whatever you want to call them now.
Yeah.
Fine movie for them. One of them that, as a parent, if I had somebody in that age, I wouldn't be worried about what they're watching because there's so many movies out now that I think are inappropriate for children, and I
Austin
think
Powers.
I think an awful lot. Yeah, I think an awful lot of parents have gotten away from being a parent, and these kids are seeing things that they're way too soon in their lives.
I agree.
Grand Theft Auto.
And so I think this movie is actually a very good movie for those kids. So because of that and where it fits in, I think it's right there in the middle of the scale. I'm going to give it a 3. And I was kind of like you would have maybe given it a 4 for kids because I totally understand that. I think it could go that way, but
I've got a girl right around there, and I was thinking I probably should have waited to pick it while she was around.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to stay at 3, but again, I think it's if the parents out there watch it and you have kids in this age, I think it's a good movie for a young girl in particular.
I would also add something to what Rob said. Is I also think this movie also would bring up healthy conversations about some things, especially around death and other things. So I totally agree.
Yep.
So Ryan, you're up.
I'm kind of with James. For kids and whatnot, anybody around that sort of age group. It's such a. It could be such a meaningful thing. You know what I mean? Seeing something like that actually really speaks to an age group. That's I think we all had a version of those kinds of movies.
It was Goonies.
Goonies sucks so bad. I'm telling you, it's good. Somebody put a comment. Oh, Goonies is good. I dare you. But I'm with John also, in as much as there were so many scenes that were just really good. You know what I mean? Like in scene to scene, everything didn't seem wasted. And now that I know it was based on a novel, that makes so much sense. Because it really had kind of nailed the tone of voice, I guess, of the movie.
Yeah.
So 3.5 for sure. And I'm saying that for understanding who the audience is also.
Yeah.
No, I actually think, we gave it appropriate audience, appropriate scores. And I think Ryan totally hit it off, though. The tone of this movie was, like, perfect all the way through for what they were trying to do.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, it's not like something like The Sandlot or something like that, but this is, it wasn't gauged for the boy audience.
Oh, yeah.
It was definitely pegged for the female audience, and I think it did an amazing job. And like you said, it brought up a lot of different things that you could introduce conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of things. Yeah. So.
And so right now we're going to switch to discussing House of Cards Season 1. And I guess I'll start this off going, I didn't realize he was going to kill somebody from the first episode, but I am really bummed they didn't continue the Zach Morris moments. Because I actually thought that made it lighthearted, and I think by not doing that as much, I think it definitely added a more darker tone to this, which is probably why they did it.
You know, I gotta say one thing about this entire season is, you know, sometimes I make my predictions, and I really, really hope that I'm wrong. I wasn't. And that's disappointing to me. It really is. I want twists and turns and plot turns that I don't see.
Which, by the way,
thank you, Game of Thrones.
Just a little context. If you guys ever have the opportunity to watch a movie with James, after 30 minutes, pause the movie and ask him what he thinks about the ending of the movie is.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've been quite right.
Well, nowadays with movies, they foreshadow so much shit in the beginning.
Really do.
Unless you,
it's just like, oh crap! I wonder if I'm going to see that again.
Unless you watch M. Night Shyamalan, then you know from the the first credit.
Yeah.
You just.
I'm going to be disappointed.
Guess the dumbest thing you can, and then that's probably correct.
Or just read some old Hitchcock. You got all his material right there.
This one was really about the journey, and I think we kind of.
Sorry, you just got stepped on.
Yeah, I think we knew the path that it was taking. Episode 3 or 4. I think we all knew. I think they wanted us to know really the direction everything was going.
Yeah,
and led right up to said direction. You know what I mean? Is that what I'm making?
No, it was fast,
I don't think
too.
They were really going after plot twists and weird little turns. I think it was like, oh yeah, we're kind of just looking forward to what we sort of know is going to happen, you know?
Well, Rob pointed out that they were not sure they were going to get re-signed, and if I'm correct, and I'm pretty dang sure I am, this was Netflix's first original season show that they were releasing.
If not the first one, it was definitely one of them.
Yeah,
it's very early into it, and nobody knew. Nobody knew if they were going to get re-signed or not.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel the last chapter was kind of we kind of have to wrap this up a little bit because it really felt a little rushed, and you know there were some stories that they wanted to tie together and tie back up and get it done, and that's what it felt like to me. It's like, all right, so maybe they didn't think that they were going to be around.
I did like, though, how they left a few things kind of open just in case. One being the nude pictures of the journalist, one being the bottle, and I think there was one other one. So I like how they gave themselves opens just in case if they got another season.
Well, I mean, I kind of knew about the whole nude photo thing as soon as he took them. I'm like, well, that's just a stupid maneuver.
Oh, yeah.
By her, just to let that happen.
Well,
okay.
She was willing to do literally willing to do anything to get the scoops.
Yeah.
So now, of course, if anybody's going to bother to watch the next season, we'll see how Zoe ends.
I might delve into it a little bit, just see if they fix the way that they were kind of, like Ryan was saying, giving all the hints away.
Now, do you think...
that just dawned on me. The other one I wanted... Have you watched Burn Notice?
Oh, yes.
There's one that would be fun to do again.
8 or 9 seasons in a Burn Notice.
Oh, it's so
kind of took a break.
Sorry, kind of back to...
Sorry.
This. No.
It just dawned on me all of a sudden. That was a good
I was wondering, do you think this... Because this show, by the third episode 13, was already really dark. Do you think it's going to continue on this, get darker, or be lighter? Because at the point where I view it...
It's, 6 seasons in now?
4 or 5, I think.
No, they're going to be doing 3 coming up.
Is it 3?
Yeah.
Is it really only that little? I thought they came out years ago.
They just released 3. They just released 3.
So do you think it's gonna get darker from here? Because I already thought the tone of it is. I could see room for a little bit more, but I think too much. I think you're gonna have you're gonna turn people off. I think because of politics. I
suspect we're gonna see a little bit of the marriage of both worlds. I think we're gonna see a little more of the narration come back, and we're gonna see a little more darkness start to creep through.
So
a little more out in the open, I think.
okay,
Yeah.
so how about a little bit of prediction
That was my
and
prediction.
so okay, let's say because my prediction is I think honestly Underwood's he's gonna be vice president. I have a feeling at some point in time that bottle is gonna come back to him because I think the fingerprints on the bottle when he killed his protege or whatever he was, I do think that's going to get to him, and I do think the pictures are going to bite Zoe somehow, but I don't think it's going to be a giant scandal.
No, excuse me. If the pictures become a giant scandal, that comes back to him. It leads back to him.
Unless somebody
the
finds him.
bottle thing, I think that's going to be something that is definitely going to be played back at him. I think it's going to be total bribery thing, and I think he's going to throw his big old hissy fit and try to do exactly what he was trying to do to the gentleman of the president. I can't remember his name.
It was Frank.
Gentleman that the president was trying to get to check him out.
Right.
I think he's going to try to pull some crap like tried to pull on that guy,
You mean the guy from Major
and I
Dad?
think he's going to succeed. That's where I'm going to go with that. That would be my prediction as far as season 2 goes. I think by the middle or end of season 2 is they'll be finishing up the bottle thing.
Because I was wondering on the bottle thing, because that'd be a great way to end the series. Have that kind of, like, basically that's discovered and, You don't think so? What do you think? So what's yours?
No, I
Bob?
think
I think if they're gonna, in not having watched the second season, I think some of what you said is going to be true. I didn't find this series as dark as you seem to have. I didn't think it was that dark at all. As a matter of fact, I thought it was rather a tame political series. I think a lot of it was based on the TV series West Wing. A lot of the flavor, I think, of the show was like that.
Well, it was also based on a BBC miniseries.
Sure, yeah, and so.
for the Parliament.
I have no predictions. It could go any way it wants. I think the way they ended it leaves it to the audience going, all right, I want to see the second season or second chapter, whatever goes
But
into
the one thing I will say, as far as what I was predicting, is in that process of him pulling all that crap to get rid of the evidence against him, he will get his hands dirtier and dirtier and dirtier and dirtier.
Well, I think that's where the
show's
character's
gonna
got to
be
go. Yeah, I would think so. I think they
It's a slippery
could aim this
Just
all
like
the way
the-
into
the
the crash
TV,
at
The
any
Shield.
ending the series when the series finally ends, if it did end, right? Yeah.
The Shield.
So yeah.
So, with that saying, just to remind everybody that we do have a Facebook page. You love us, hate us, do you think we suck? Let us know. Also, help a Pause for the Cause and donate a
laugh
couple
at
of
you.
bucks. And I forgot to mention, have we decided what TV show we're going to do?
I think we're going to go with the first season of Banshee, which is an HBO show as well.
Okay.
Or not as well, but it's an HBO show.
Okay, and that said, you're up for movie news.
Yes, I wanted to bring up something real quick because I know Ryan and I talked about this years ago. And Ryan, do you remember when they were releasing a bestseller into a movie called Meg, a Novel of Deep Terror?
Oh man, you know what? I'm
Warner
tired of
Brothers.
getting excited about this shit. I
Warner-
really am.
Warner Brothers bought it from Disney,
Did they really?
and they are revamping it, and it is coming off the back of Jurassic World. They are going to be releasing it, so it's going to be WB putting it out, and it's Jan de Bont, which is the guy from Speed and a bunch of those early action films of the 90s, Deep Impact.
So, what is this
all that crap.
about?
Hold on, I'm going to get to it. And they also tossed in the name of Eli Roth. So where do you
Okay,
think that's going to
interesting.
go?
Are they? Do you know anything about the plot? Are they going with the undersea
yeah.
laboratory thing that sort of awakens sleeping
Not
giant?
quite sure
shenanigans?
what they're going to be doing with that as far as yet. Like I said, that was the Disney gave up on it in '99 when Deep Blue Sea went to crap, which I could have told them that was going to happen. They just never asked me.
They had
Anyways,
LL
but
Cool J, what do you
it
expect?
looks like Warner Brothers bought it from in 2005, and they're saying it's time. So, anyways, I'm excited.
Yeah,
This is a Megalodon. The big ass nasty
Historic
looking
shark.
fish.
It's like the size of a
So
cruise
basically,
ship.
it's Jurassic Park, but
Yeah.
not.
In the water.
Yeah.
in the water.
In the water.
But they're going to kind of go with the plot of when the ocean went cold, they went down and hid and blah,
Right.
blah, 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 blah. And then it comes back up to destroy everything.
Are they going to have LL Cool J in this movie as well?
I sure as hell hope
I
not,
hope
because
so.
Hunt for Red October sucked. Anyways, so that was my movie news. I just want to bring that up. Is that
Wait, what?
that film from '99
I couldn't
is
disagree with
being
them more.
put back in? I've been wanting to
but-
see it. I want to see what they're going to do with it,
But
because that could be really
LL
cool.
Cool J wasn't in the Hunt for the Red
Really?
October.
I thought he was.
No,
Was
that's
he one of
Alec
those?
Baldwin. He
No, you're getting me confused. Black guy.
Easy. See? Psycho.
Anyways, so Ryan, I think you're up for a movie pick.
Yeah, since we were doing just
Make it
kind
something
of,
good, okay?
Please.
stuff. I picked a pretty safe bet, I think.
Okay.
Still a little bit on the indie side, but a really popular indie movie, High Fidelity, John Cusack,
Oh, all right.
and a very early Jack Black
Yeah.
Yep.
and Philip Seymour
Hoffman.
Yeah, I think he's
Yeah,
in
I
I
it.
think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
A bunch of old character actors and
Wow.
Catherine Zeta-Jones is in it.
I haven't seen this movie in years.
Even people that are not alive.
Yeah.
Well, one.
Well,
I think there's more than one.
recently.
Well, recently.
Recently.
Hey, don't forget, just give a little shout out to Tommy Chung and hope he gets
Yeah.
better. At 77 years old, he just diagnosed again with rectal cancer, and we just, I don't know about you guys, but I've laughed and laughed and laughed at many of their antics.
Oh,
He remembers them when they were new.
many,
So.
many. Yeah.
I heard them live at the Troubadour.
Doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo.
Yeah, 1972.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. They
And-
didn't have video streaming back then.
Talk about a moldy old.
Not even close.
They had closed circuit television.
They did.
So, wow. Ladies and gentlemen, I gave My Girl a 3 out of 5. James gave it a 4 out of 5. Ryan gave it a 3.5 out of 5. Rob gave it a 3 out of 5. We're doing Banshee, an HBO series for a TV series. And we're doing High Fidelity for our movie pick next week. And as always, thank you for watching.
Giggity.